Attention, all stations. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Bonsoir, tout le monde, et bienvenue. This is Victor Alpha 3, Charlie Juliet Zulu, opening the weekly amateur radio exchange group, also known as AREG, for Wednesday, January 28th, 2024. This week is 1,589 times that AREG has been on the air consecutively. My name is Chuck, and my station is located in East Hamilton, Ontario. This net is on every Wednesday night, starting at 8 p.m. and ending around 10 p.m. local time, here on 146.430. And since this is a Simplex net, not everyone will be able to hear everyone else. So I also stream the net on YouTube so people who tune in can hear stations they cannot hear on their radio and hear how their audio sounds on the air and see their signal strength, as well as see my station layout. Just type in my call into the YouTube search box, again, VA3CJZ, and listen to us live. And if you have trouble finding us tonight, we'll be under the title AREG Week 1589. And so finally, we ask that you please try and leave a 1 to 2 second delay between transmissions to allow others to break in. May I now have check ins for this evening's AREG?
PA3 AXJ.
All right, sounds like we got one to start with. Let's go with that. VA3 AXJ, Rick, come on in.
Good evening here, Chucky. Just sitting here, turn on the radio, eating a bag of chips. Behaving myself. Nothing much to say. I don't have to go for meals now for once a month. Had them today and nice. I'm doing good. So once a month now.
Ah, very good, very good. I go on Friday morning, nice and early this time. Usually I get an afternoon appointment. This time was at it'll be around 9:20. I have to be there half an hour before the procedure, so I think I might be the first one, if not probably the second one in for the day. So looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, it's a bit of a pain in the butt, but I'll tell you, that wind today was terrific. Almost blew me right off my feet. And I had to hold on to somebody that was smaller than me to hold me up.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching the CHCH News earlier, and the weather guy there said it dropped, and I watched it I have a little weather station here in the house, one on the front porch, and it dropped 9 degrees in a little over an hour, hour and a half there, 10 degrees, crazy. Now, of course, we're sitting at -4. It did get as high this morning as 15 when I got up.
Yeah, I was out this morning doing some business, banking and all that, and it was actually nice. But we went to the bank clinic. It was at 1 o'clock, and like I said, she had to hold me up. The hat flew off my head. There was a guy behind me. He actually caught the hat because I wasn't going to chase it. There was no way I was going to chase that hat. Anyhow, that was my day. Now I'm just relaxing. Back to you.
Yeah, and then mix in a couple of flurries, and there you have it. I know I took my garbage out already, and as soon as I laid the blue bin down, a bag went flying, and I'm like, I'm not chasing that. See ya. Okay, Rick. Well, thanks for checking in, my friend, and stick around. It's going to be a good one, as always. And before I do another call out, I understand tomorrow is January 29th. And I guess people in Hamilton here will be celebrating the first POTA activation for the leap year. And so, um, tell us if you still plan on going out hunting or activating, I should say, or if you're going to stay home and activate from home. Um, so, with that, let's see who else would like to check in with us here on the Amateur Radio Exchange Group. This is VA3CJZ.
Victor Alpha 3, India, Mike Whiskey.
Victor Alpha 3, November, Charlie Alpha.
Okay, I got two in there that I can hear. Let's go to VA3IMW, Mac.
Good evening, Chuck. And it's a beautiful evening. This is the beginning of my weekend because I have devoted myself to going out and celebrating the first quadrennial park activation, celebrating the leap year. I will be at Battlefield Park as soon as I can coax myself to go out the front door. I have my spare battery on charge, so I'll start the day with a full charge. I will also be connecting a 40-watt solar panel to the battery, so that will replenish the charge of the battery as I'm activating throughout the day. And Battlefield Park is a park that I haven't activated yet. And I'm going to be operating from the warmth and comfort of the cab of my truck. So, not that I'm going to sit there with the engine running for hours and hours on end, but at least I'll be out of the wind. And the wind, oh my goodness. Yes, it was gorgeous this morning when I left for work. Nice and warm, a little bit of a spritz of rain, but not bad overall. By lunchtime in Guelph, it was snowing sideways. And I did pop out for a nice, delicious burger at lunchtime, and I certainly felt it. The wind was just cutting right through you. End of day trip home was intermittent white outs with little patches of blue sky shining through, but the streamers and the whiteouts were significant. So. I'm hoping this is winter's last hurrah, and hopefully March is kind to us as well. Anyways, so I'm going to be out there activating tomorrow, and I'm pretty sure you've heard that Bill, VE3IUK, will be preparing certificates for hunters and activators, again, to commemorate the first quadrennial celebration of Leap Year Day. Back to you, Chuck.
Yes. The quadrennial. That's the word I wasn't prepared to try and say because I forgot exactly. But very good. You understand it's going to be a little chilly. -2 they're calling for tomorrow. Partly cloudy with a few flurries, ending in the morning. And then partly sunny in the afternoon. So, dress accordingly. And of course, it's the one day, that everyone wants to go activating. But you've got it made. You've got the ATAS, I guess, there, the old man antenna. And you know what? Speaking of which, the other day I was trying to pick you up when you were out in Guelph. And I had an S40 noise on both of my antennas, and I just wasn't able to pick you up there, my friend. After you moved from the one frequency down a little bit lower, I completely lost you in the noise. So, anyways, I tried.
Yeah, QSL. As a matter of fact, when I picked my 40-meter frequency, I had to spin the dial because there was some local noise just in that area. I'm not sure what it was from. I think there is some high tension lines that runs through that area, not really, really close, but kind of somewhat proximate. So I ended up putting myself where I was because I tried to find a not noisy place. Yeah, to add to a little bonus there, I worked 40 meters until I thought maybe I had harvested the crowd, and then I moved down to 20 meters, just very, very, well, I was going to just pop down and see if there was anything there to harvest, but sure enough, I had AL7 something come in, and you know what that is? That's Alaska. Alaska on 20 meters. That was kind of a shot in the arm. Kind of gives me a really good feeling about the ATAS antenna. So to get a 5x7 report out of Alaska was good. And then Echo Alpha 1 from Spain. That was a little bit tougher of a copy, but eventually band conditions changed. I was able to get him with a 5x4. So as far as a field antenna setup, can't complain about it whatsoever, except the price tag is, well, it's something you invest in once and you keep it forever. So I think as long as I don't brutalize it, then I'll be happy to have it. Certainly in the better weather, I may string up a wire or run the Pac-12 antenna, because I'm equally happy with the performance of those style antennas. Anyways, that's enough for me right now. I am here for the duration, because I'm not turning into a pumpkin tonight. I get to sleep into whenever I feel like getting up tomorrow, just knowing that eventually I'm going to get out the front door with a nice hot cup of coffee in my hand and head to the park and get as many as many contacts as possible. So, yep, I'll turn it back to you, Chuck, and let you pick up Wade and everybody who else is tired of listening to me.
Okay, very good, Mac. And well, Merry Christmas again, I guess. So you should be one happy camper there. All right, very good. So we'll clear with you for now and say hello to Wade, VA3 November Charlie Alpha. Come on in, Wade.
Oh, VA3 CJZ, VA3 MCA. I blanked out on our calls there for a second. But anyways, I'm better now. Good evening, Chuck. Good evening, all on net. And yeah, like in many ways, like Mac there, I will also be heading out with Bill, and we're going to go to Canal Park here in Dundas and activate it. It'll be a new one for Bill, so we'll set up down there at some point during the day. We're going to aim for the warmest part of the day, which won't be warm, but it will be the warmest part of the day, and give that a shot. Also, like Mac, I took the opportunity to take a couple of days off, so this is the start of my weekend as well, which I'm enjoying. So, good way to start here on the AREG net, charging up the batteries so that we're ready for tomorrow, and yeah, as Max said, the first quadrennial leap year in the log event. Although technically it's the first quadrennial except for every 100 years, but including every 400 years if we're being technical. But that's just far too long to get on a certificate. So we'll go with first quadrennial. It's long enough. Other than that, I have nothing much else. I send it back to you there, Chuck, VA3NCA.
Okay, very good. Then, Wade, I was just distracted by reading the YouTube check-ins that we have there. Want to say a big hello to Mad Dog, VA3 Fox Golf Tango out of Simcoe. Good evening there, Greg. Thanks for joining us, as well as Bill, VE3IUK. And of course, Wade always says hello on YouTube, VA3NCA, who I'm speaking with right now. And so, good. Nobody has yet declined to go because it's going to be a little chilly. So that's always good. Wouldn't it suck if it was like a big snowstorm planned or something like that? Then I'm sure the crowd would thin out for activators anyways. But When you can sit inside your truck or car and flip the switch on the old ATAS or the old man antenna there, is not too much of getting cold unless your heater isn't working. All right, very good, Wade. Wish you all luck. I'll be hunting. Hopefully, the solar conditions will be favorable, and I'll be looking for all of you on the POTA page.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, aside from a little bit of chill, it should be an all right day. Yeah, one step away from pulling up a Winnebago. Maybe we got to talk to Arpad about getting him involved for that as well. But we're looking forward to it, and hopefully the weather cooperates and the conditions cooperate as much as possible. Want to mention as well that we're welcoming Uwe and Deb OYL to the Discord. They joined this week, and so an extra few people there. And to remind people that you can also watch people that are spotted on POTA. They're reflected onto the Discord if you want a place to see the locals who are being spotted. And if you're activating, you can follow the instructions in the pinned message in the spots channel, and it'll tell you how to get your name in there so that you're in the spot bot as well. So we employ robots at the Discord, and the spot bot is responsible for letting everybody know when they see a local posted on POTA. All right. Yeah. Well, it's a good start to the net tonight, and so I'll let you call out again and see who else we can get in the log. VA3NCA, back to you there, Chuck.
Yes, very good, Wade, and welcome, Debbie, and oh gosh, I already forgot who. See, you mentioned there's a woman in there, and I forget everything. Uwe, there you go. I was momentarily distracted there. Okay, very good, Wade. Thanks for checking in, my friend, and we'll get back to you in a little bit. For now, let's see who else is out there wishing to check in to our weekly amateur radio exchange group. This is VA3CJZ. Please come now.
VA3OYL.
And speak of the devil, I've always been weak that way, Debbie. What can I say? Welcome.
It happens to the best of us, eh? Yes, I think I will try and be a hunter tomorrow. We'll see what happens. I like being warm in a warm house, so.
Oh yeah.
Other than that, nothing going on here. I'm playing around with Discord, so trying to figure it out and whatnot. So that'll keep me busy for a little while. And I haven't been doing a lot of radio. I played around with my little QRP little box. So I have that set up with for FT8. And yeah, that's about all.
Oh, very good. Very good. I also haven't been doing too much. Conditions have been up and down there with the solar activity that we had. A couple of big flares, last week there, but they missed Earth. There was no CME, no coronal mass ejection, so we kind of got lucky. But I guess the west of us and to the east of us, those parts of the world got affected more. So during the daytime, conditions weren't great, but it could have been a lot worse. But anyways, yeah, I know I have my back appointment on Friday. It's been a long 6 months. I'm really looking forward to getting treated there, and then I got to start walking a little bit more and getting back into shape. Haven't done much this winter, physically that is, and so yeah, gonna have to at least start walking more.
Yeah, I've been slowly increasing my walks in the morning with the dog, trying to get a little more exercise. But then I get set back when it's a really cold day, and I don't want to be out there. The dog doesn't want to be out there, but it's been pretty good. So hopefully by spring, the warm weather, I'll be doing good. This cold front that has come in, it's given me a headache. So who knows how long I'll be monitoring along tonight, but we'll see.
Okay, Debbie. Yeah, sad to hear that. And so, yeah, try and do the little tips and tricks that you hear about. I don't know if anything works, but yeah, I remember having to go to the hospital one time. I had this horrible migraine. I had never had a migraine before, and I thought my head was going to explode. And they gave me an IV of something, and then they left me in a room by myself and turned the lights off. And sure enough, maybe half an hour later, there started feeling better. And wow, that was really weird, out of the blue. So, anyways, yeah. Um, my wife, believe it or not, we still have a DVD player, and my wife has this workout uh, DVD that she puts on and starts exercising in the living room. And then I saw her starting to do chair yoga, which is something I've been uh, wanting to pull the trigger on, but uh, I'm still procrastinating. But I'm gonna, I promise. Anyways, Deb, thanks for checking in. I do appreciate it. Do you have anything else for us?
No, I'll just be listening along, and hopefully I'll be here next round. We'll see who's in behind me here.
All right, so we'll clear with VA3, Oscar Yankee Lima. And let's see who else is out there would like to join us here on the Amateur Radio Exchange Group. This is VA3 CJZ looking for check ins.
Victor Alpha 3, Charlie Juliet Whiskey, Chris in Burlington.
Okay, we'll take them one at a time. VA3, Charlie Juliet Whiskey, Chris, come on in.
Yeah, thanks for taking my check-in, Chuck. Good evening to you and to everybody else on the net tonight. I have the YouTube in the background, but when I go to check in, I turn it down so I can't hear if I'm walking on top of somebody. I apologize for that. Nothing new to add. Trying to stay warm like everybody else, and just here for the duration to enjoy your net, the Amateur Radio Exchange. It's a great way to spend the Wednesday evening.
All right, well, I'm glad you feel that way as well as most of us on here. And yeah, quite chilly tonight compared to how it has. I think it was still 11 degrees last night when I went to bed there a little after midnight. And then, of course, this morning I get up and it's 15. I'm like, what? And within an hour, it dropped almost 10 degrees. That was crazy. Anyhow, Chris, thanks for joining us. I do appreciate your check in. Do you have any other traffic for us?
No, nothing else at this time, Chuck. I'll be here for the evening, and yeah, it looks like we've got one more day that we're going to have this really, really cold weather from this cold front, and then we're going to start to warm up again. So I'll just be sitting here and listening for the rest of the night. VA3CJZ, VA3CJW.
Okay, Chris, sounding good tonight. You're a little over S9 and slight bit of noise, but still very understandable. And of course, you're watching us on YouTube, and you can always move the slider back to where when you first checked in there and listen to it on the YouTube if you like. And speaking of which, I'd like to say hello to Michael, Kilo India 5, Sierra Papa Alpha. Good evening, Michael in Arkansas. Hope the weather is nice down there. And we also have Sean VE3 Fox November India, checking in and saying hello. Hi there, guys. Michael and Sean, welcome. All right, with that, do we have anyone else out there that would like to check in with us here on the weekly Amateur Radio Exchange Group? Please come now.
Victor Echo 3, Charlie Echo Uniform.
Victor Echo 3, Charlie Echo Uniform, Thomas in Burlington. Come on in, Tom. You're sounding good.
VE3CJZ, VE3CU. Good evening, Chuck and everybody else on the net here. Thomas from Burlington, yeah. I just turned the radio on about 10 minutes ago. It was the net on BARC. I was on that one, and now I'm on your net, which is the second one. And yeah, it was quite a day today with the winds there, driving the bus back and forth there. It was, wobbling back and forth there, and yeah, you're right. It was 11 degrees this morning when I left for work at 4:30 this morning, and yeah, it was a pretty good day.
Oh, right on, right on. But except for the wind, of course. And if you live in an area that happens to catch a lot of garbage, like my property does, it sucks because it's not yours, but you still got to clean it up. I know some of my other neighbors, they have like a little frost fence there separating the property out front, and those things catch a lot of garbage as well. The fence is a good backstop. But yeah, you look outside and you see all this stuff on there, and you're like, where the hell did that come from? But yeah, you got to deal with it. So, anyways, tomorrow is a big day for hunting POTA. So maybe when you're done work, you can see who else is still out there activating parks. I'm sure a few guys are going to be doing it probably till at least dinner time, if not. I know Pierre likes to go back to the house maybe, and then he'll fuel up and then head back out. You never know. Pierre meaning VE3 BMO. But a few guys are going to be going out there. Just thought I'd let you know. Because it's a leap year, everyone decided let's do an activation on the first quadrennial POTA activation, they're calling it.
Okay, very good, very good. No, I haven't really investigated into POTA. Like I say, you work all day and you just, you're just too exhausted to spend time with anything else. But yeah, that's something I may investigate myself into this year, maybe this summer or whatever. Other than practicing golf, which I'm still not the greatest at it, but yeah, probably POTA might even be better. It's to learn for sure, and less less strenuous than golfing. But yeah, okay, Chuck, I'll definitely look into that in the near future there. So I get you at full scale here tonight on my radio here. So yeah, nothing, no other traffic here. Chuck, like I say, I go to sleep early tonight there, so I'll sit here and listen along for the next half hour or so, and keep up the good work. VE3 CEU.
Okay, Thomas. Well, thank you so much for taking the time out and checking in with us. Always a pleasure, sir. And your audio is really nice tonight, and you're giving me an S9 over here by the Center Mall in Hamilton. So thanks for checking in, and yeah, stick around for as long as you feel comfortable. Other than that, have a great rest of the week and the weekend coming up. Temperatures are supposed to go back up again, so another roller coaster ride weather-wise for Hamilton. Okay, so we'll clear with VE3 Charlie Echo Uniform. And let's see who else would like to stop by and say hi here on the weekly Amateur Radio Exchange Group. This is VA3CJZ looking for check-ins. Please come now. Okay, nothing heard. Let's check out the contests coming up. And we only have one single sideband contest worth mentioning. And that is the ARRL International DX Contest. It's on for 2 full days for sideband. And for the bands, 10 meter, 15, 20, 40, 80, and 160. And that starts at 0 Zulu time, March 2nd to 2400 Zulu, March 3rd. So that only looks like 24 hours, but shows here 2 days. So Saturday and Sunday, starting at 7 p.m. Friday. Oh, and by the way, in about less than 2 weeks now, we're going to change the time again. March the 10th. Mark your calendar, March the 10th at 2 a.m. You should change your clocks ahead. So, and then the other contest worth mentioning is a CW contest called the Novice Rig Roundup. And that goes on for 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 5 days. And that's for CW. And that's for 2 meter, 10 meter, 15, 40, and 80. Again, for CW, called a Novice Rig Roundup. Looks like it'll be on for several days. And that pretty much sums up the contests. If you want to see all the listed contests or get some more information, just open up your web browser and type in contestcalendar.com. With that, do we have any announcements that anyone would like to make about anything? Please come now. Okay. I understand Rick was not feeling well for the Monday Night Net. I don't believe I heard him. Mac, have you heard Rick?
Well, as a matter of fact, I have not. One of the things that I've kind of been lax on is putting extra effort in getting my 80-meter wire back up. So I'm not able to work 80 meters, which kind of now excludes me from the Monday Night Net. I did also hear Marty doing the announcements on the Monday Night Net, which Rick usually does. So, no, I haven't heard him on the air on any band this week at all. So I'm not sure what's going on there. Hopefully it's just a little thing and he's going to get on top of it. Obviously, as time goes on, I guess we all get more fragile. So hopefully he hasn't become fragile. Back to you, Chuck.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully, like you said, it's just a short stint, whatever it may be. And we hope to hear Rick feeling better very soon. And so, I'm just getting better myself from this cold that lasted at least 3 weeks. And it's just this week I've started to feel better again. That includes my throat with the wheezing and the liquid, phlegm and all that nasty stuff. And so I wasn't able to actually make it up to Art's place to fix his radio. Apparently, one of his social workers was playing with the dials, and of course, Art is vision impaired, so he's not able to put this frequency back on. And I wished I could have helped him. I know Garnett offered me a ride, but when you're just starting to get over long bout of the flu, I wasn't ready to go up there and help him. So maybe for next week. You know what gets me is though he's a member of the Hamilton Amateur Radio Club. You know, you would think someone would go up there and visit him from the club and help him out. I mean, it only takes a few minutes to set the radio back up, and you know, he'd be able to key up and say hi. But until then, let's hope someone is able to help him out. All right. Well, thank you, Mac. And so with that, let's see if we have any other check-ins for the weekly amateur radio exchange group. This is Victor Alpha 3, Charlie Juliet Zulu. Please come now.
VE3LBI, and don't look at the clock. It's only 8:35.
Wow.
Comment, Charlie Juliet Whiskey.
Okay, LBI, you're acknowledged. And comment, Charlie Juliet Whiskey. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, just wanted to mention to you briefly, Chuck, a really neat idea. I happened to be listening to York Region the other day, and every evening they do a check-in net just for club members and anybody else who's on frequency, just checking in to see how everybody's doing, you know. How's their health? Are there any issues they're having? And I thought, boy, that's really what amateur radio should all be about. And apparently this is something they do every single evening, just for about a half an hour. A daily check-in net, checking up on their members. Figured I'd mention it with your comment earlier.
Okay, Chris. Yeah, thanks. I know I've heard a few of those in the greater Toronto area. I can't say exactly at the moment who does that, but it's been a while since I've stumbled upon one of those. But yeah, it is a good idea, especially with some of us baby boomers really feeling the impacts of our entire life catching up to us. And it's a really great idea. Thanks for pointing that out there, Chris. Anything else?
No, just wanted to drop that in there, Chuck. You know, the frequencies are available. A lot of the repeaters are available. And, you know, they're not in use 24 hours a day. So finding the time, maybe every day, to just sort of jump on and check out how your other members and your friends are doing is a great idea.
Absolutely. I know I've heard Americans do it on HF bands. And so, yeah, anywhere, uh, you know, everyone is able to meet up, uh, whether it's UHF, VHF, or on the HF high frequency bands. Yeah, it is a good idea. All right, thanks, Chris. So we'll clear with VA3 CJW and say hello to Larry, VE3 LBI. Come on in, Larry.
Yep, thanks, Chuck. I didn't want you to have to look at the clock there, so it's not 9 o'clock. It's way before. But anyways, heading out tomorrow, do an activation, Dave and I. So try to get something in for the 29th, just for fun.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, at the beginning there, I did ask whoever checks in to let us know if they're going out activating or hunting. And it is going to be a little bit chillier than what we thought it would be, but it's not going to be that bad. And you know, -2. Whoop-de-doo. If you've ever been out to Winnipeg, you know why they call it Winter Peg. And I was there through one winter back in the 80s, and it was one to remember. Mind you, I did grow up in the Ottawa-Gatineau Valley, and in Quebec, oh yeah, lots of snow, and so you know, kind of used to it. But anyways, okay, Larry. So which park are you going to?
Planned so far is Iroquois Heights, unless the parking lot's full, which is not a big parking lot. Probably get 5 cars in there. So hopefully it won't be too busy in the morning.
Yeah, how early?
Plan is about 10:30. Dave's put something in the Discord site there on it, so for planned activation. get set up and operating about 10:30 in the morning.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a very good point there, Larry. If you have Discord, go on there and you'll get some more information regarding some of the guys going out tomorrow. So, okay, very good. And do you know which one Pierre BMO is going to? Do you know?
The last I heard, I just spoke to him a couple minutes ago. He didn't really have one planned, but I believe Kevin's going with him, the E3WKG. So it'll be early morning though, because Pierre's coming off of night shift, and he wants to get his activation in. Like I said, he thinks Kevin's going with him, and then go home and get some sleep.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Um, all right. So maybe I'll get up a little bit earlier. I have to get up really early on Friday. I get my back procedure done there. My once or twice a year procedure there. So I'm really looking forward to getting some relief. Friday morning, nice and early.
I'll make it 2 days in a row there, Chuck. You can get up twice, 2 days in a row, and that way you'll be prepared for on Friday to get up. Yeah, he's been up. I just asked him, talking to him. He's been up since 4:30 this morning. Pierre has, and he's working a night shift, so he figures he'll be pretty much done in the morning. He get his activation in, and then he go home and get some sleep. He'll go back in on nights again on tomorrow night.
Okay, very good then. All right, so we'll uh, keep our ears and eyes open on the POTA webpage, and hopefully it won't be FT8 because I don't play that game just yet.
No FT8 right now, and I think we're going to start on 2 and 70. Probably start off before we move to 40.
Okay, yeah, good to know. They're always easy to set up with 2 and 70, 2 meter, 70 centimeter. So right on. Okay, so we'll definitely set the alarm there for earlier in the morning. Okay, Larry. Anything else for us?
No, I'm sure you guys have been talking about it. Just a crazy day with weather. Just temperature up again. I'm not a Celsius person, but Fahrenheit-wise, I was unbelievable. It was so nice this morning, and then this afternoon. I mean, at some time points, right around 5:30, quarter after 5:30, you couldn't see across the street with the snow blowing in. So, anyways, that's it. Check for now. I'm going to be listening along. Pick them up.
Yeah. Always remember, in Hamilton, you can have your furnace on and your air conditioner on in the same week. That's a roller coaster of a weather ride it is around Hamilton. Okay, Larry, thanks so much for joining us. And let's see who else is listening. Would maybe like to check in with us. Say hi, test out their radio. This is VA3 CJZ with the weekly AREG net. Anyone, anywhere, please come now. Okay. Nothing heard there. So it looks like we might have an early start to the on this day and whatnot. And by popular demand, I've received a request to do some uh, outstanding trivia, I guess. Biggest this, longest that, and whatnot. And so I do have a little something I researched. Somebody suggested that I do that, so we'll incorporate that into the net this evening. But do we have any questions, comments, or announcements to make? Anyone, anywhere, please come now. VA3CJZ. Okay, so far we've got 10 check ins, including Bill, VE3IUK on YouTube, and Mad Dog, Greg, VA3FGT in Simcoe. Hope everything's going well with you, Greg, and the family. Thanks for checking in, Greg. And Michael, I got to put you. Oh, so that makes 11. Michael in Arkansas, KI5SPA. There you go. You're in the log number 11 there, Michael. And so with that, I guess we'll go to the top and say another quick hello to everybody, and then we'll start the other portion of the net. So Kevin KKP was actually the first check-in. I'm waiting for him to come back in. Let's see if he's there. VE3 KKP. Okay, something did come up, so he said he would join us a little bit later, and so we'll wait for that. Next, let's go to Downtown Rick, VA3AXJ. Rick, are you finished your chips?
Oh, I had to put the bag away. I almost ate the whole damn thing. Yeah, this wind was crazy today. I was dodging and swerving around and missing bags and blue bins and all kinds of junk, eh? You know, they just fly right in front of you. It's amazing I didn't hit any of them. But yeah, it was nasty. That wind was really, really bad.
Yeah, and add the fact that people are putting out their garbage tonight. A lot of that stuff's going to be blowing around and ending up on other people's front lawn. So I know as soon as I took my bin out earlier, the blue bin there for the plastics, I had a plastic bag that wasn't tucked in well enough into the bin, and off it went down the sidewalk. And I'm like, oh, well, it's time for me to give someone else my garbage because I usually get everyone else's.
Yeah, I know, eh? It's not too bad around this area, but bad enough, I guess. But I actually seen people that are stopping and they're putting their four-ways on, and getting out of their trucks and cars, and trying to get it off the road anyhow, put it on the sidewalk. But for as long as it stays there, who knows? Eh? Just probably blow back right onto the road again. Other than that, yeah, it was a wicked day. Back to you, Chuck.
Yeah, that reminds me the very first time I heard about somebody driving over a bag that was on the road. They thought nothing of it. Turns out there was like a cinder block in it, and that just ruined the guy's front end on his car. And ever since then, I avoid everything. I don't care if it's filled with feathers. I am not driving over it unless it's in between the wheels and it'll fit under the car. Otherwise, I'll swerve. Because after I saw that, it taught me a lesson. No, I'm not going to get caught with that. So, yeah, be wary when you see things on the road. They could be quite heavy items that are tucked in there, and it would be very expensive. So, anyways, all right. So we'll clear with Rick, and let's go to Mac, VA3 IMW. Mac. Okay, it must be hot chocolate time. All right, let's go to Wade next while we wait for Mac. And Wade, I think you were coming in at an S9, 10 over S9 last time, and there was a little bit of noise with you. It's no wonder, it is windy and whatnot, but nonetheless, there. Have you noticed any different in my signal to you?
VA3CJ, VA3MCA, you know what? It's interesting you say that because the first round, you were loud and clear and completely readable to this to my location. Something's happened in the interim, and you're still fully readable. I can hear everything you say, but there's a little bit of extra noise in the background. So I'm not sure what's happened in the last 45 minutes or so, but something's changed a little bit, but nonetheless, you're still making it to me, and I hope I'm still making it to you all right. Yeah, you were mentioning about everybody collecting the garbage from the weather there. our garbage day was this morning, and so we've collected things that arrived in our tree in our front yard, and one of them is one of the neighbors' garbage pail. After it was dumped, it was empty, and it ended up in our tree. So we've got that now on our front porch. Hopefully they'll see it and collect it. We don't know who it's for because they didn't put their number on it or anything. So who knows? But yeah, the struggle is real, collecting garbage on windy days. But at least we're not putting it out tonight. So that's good. Anyways, still receiving you well. Maybe an S7 here over my pretty high noise floor tonight on 2 meters, but still making it. Back to you there, Chuck.
Yep. My noise level is S3 right now, sometimes S4. So it's quite noisy on this band at the moment. But you're coming in fine, just like last time there, about 10 over S9. And what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. The blue bins. I have to get the magic marker. I have to get the permanent marker and put our numbers back on our bins because they wear off after snow, rain, whatnot. So yeah, I don't know how many times on windy days over the years that I've seen blue bins skating down the sidewalk or the street, ending up in front of parked cars or stopping. You know what I mean? And so it's a good idea to put your number on your bin. Otherwise, you'll be going to the community center to get another one or two. So very good. Okay, Wade. Well, thank you much for that update. And let's go and see if Debbie is still with us and say hi to her. VA3OYL. Debbie, you still with us?
Yeah, excuse me. Yes, I am here. Yeah, windy days. I remember driving down the road on a highway, stopped at a stoplight, and just as I was stopping, the actual stoplight blew off the pedestal right onto my car. Try to explain that one to the insurance people. Anyway, I'm just researching counterpoise for my Pac-12. I want to maybe get a little thicker gauge wire, so I'm researching what gauge wire to use and the lengths. What they supply you with is really thin and only covers one band, so that's what I'm doing here.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting because I was watching a video from the what's it called, Ham Crash Course, HCC. They're actually on Discord as well, so they're another great source of amateur radio information. They review products and so on. And one of the videos the guy did was about counterpoise on the HT. And what he did is cut a length of wire to the appropriate length for 2 meters. And then he just took the screw out of the back of the handy talkie where the belt clip goes. There's usually 2 screws. And so he took one out and wrapped the piece of wire around it. And guess what? It did improve the reception and the transmit. So you can have a counterpoise on anything these days. So very good. Well, that's what it's all about, Deb. Experimenting, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I've tried the counterpoise on my HT. I don't have it on all the time because it's a pain in the butt. It keeps breaking off. But I usually have one with me. It does help. What do they call it? A pigtail or
yeah,
something like that? I don't know.
yeah, exactly. There's several names, but what helps is getting one of those little connectors that you crimp on the end so that you can just slide that in and out of the screw or wherever you can use the antenna ground portion to do it. But yeah, you know, these little, I've been experimenting with different antennas. I've been buying online, and you know, I don't really like the long ones unless they're the foldable ones. Because the long ones, you pretty much have to uh, bring in your backpack, and when you're ready, put it on. You can't wear this on your belt with an 18-inch antenna jabbing you in the eye or under the armpit, or you know. So yeah, I've been experimenting with several antennas there, and you got to be careful what you click buy on, because I bought a couple of Chinese antennas and they're worthless. But you know what? I spent $12 for two antennas, so no big deal.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I have a longer antenna on mine. It fits into my purse nicely. I also have a case that straps onto over my shoulder net, and I was wearing it sort of with the HT on my back, with the longer antenna coming up when I was riding my bike. It worked quite well, because if you tighten the straps tight enough, then it doesn't, the case and the HT doesn't go anywhere. Yeah, so it's all about what you're willing to spend, and Amazon and all those places like that are great resources.
Yeah, exactly. I found a long antenna that's telescopic, and it's soft. It's not like those metal telescopic ones they have. Although I've been eyeballing those ones as well. But there is one that it came with the BF F8 RT, the 8-watt Bofang with a bigger battery, and it came with two antennas, and one of them was a soft extendable. It goes up to 14 inches, fully extended, and I forget how many inches it is when it's collapsed, but it's soft. I like that. There's no chance of bending, breaking the metal telescopic portion. Because once you do that, you're done, right? You know that.
Yeah, well, that is pretty neat. I'll have to look that up. I like that idea. Um, I had something I was going to say, and I lost it. Oh well, it's gone.
Okay, if you remember, jump in. Let me see if I can find the antenna. I do believe it's called BF Tech, or yeah, where is it? BF Tech 772R. I think it is. There it is. Yeah, it's called a BF Tech NA-772R. Adjustable maximum 14-inch dual band antenna. And I actually compared it to a 8-inch a 701, and I got one bar extra out of the extendable antenna than I did out of the premium 8-inch Redivis, I think, antenna that I have. And so, and it's 2 bars more than the stock uh, antenna that comes with the radio. So something to look at. It's the NA-772R. And check it out. I think they want $18 for it on Amazon Canada. So something to think about. Anything else, Debbie?
Oh, I was just going to say before that there's a few things I want to order off one of those Chinese Amazon type companies, but I'm still leery on giving them my credit card number, so I've been putting it off. So yeah, we'll see. I don't know if one's better than another or what.
Yeah. You just got to make sure you're reading everything. They're mailing it to the proper address. Because I got caught clicking too quickly, and I clicked on the order, and it got it was going to go to Alberta, but I canceled the order. So you got to make sure you read everything, cross your dots or cross your T's and dot your I's, whatever the saying is. So something to think about. By the way, Larry Hewlin, VE3 Lima Delta Zulu, has checked in with us on the YouTube stream, and he's saying hello. It's been a while. He's in Hagersville, and he says it's -6 out there right now. And talking about garbage cans blowing down the street there when he lived on Weir Street there. And yeah. So, anyways, he says to say hi to everybody. Hello, Larry. Thanks for checking in there, buddy. Nice to hear you or see you. Okay, so we'll clear with Debbie, and let's see who's next. VA3CJW.
VA3CJZ, VA3CJW. Yep, still here, Chuck. Just listening along and sitting up here on the second floor of the house. And boy, I can hear that wind blowing something fierce out there. I know you're down in your basement, but it's blowing hard out there, that's for sure. No wonder the garbage is all over everybody's yards and all over the street.
Yeah, that's what we have to deal with. But I don't know. It seems the windy days always end up on garbage day for us. So, oh well, what can you do, right? I actually had an overzealous garbage collector a couple of weeks ago. Picked up my neighbor's garbage. Then he jumped on the truck, and of course the cars are parked on my side of the street. So he jumped back on the truck to go around two cars, and then he picked up my neighbor's garbage on the other side of me, but left my bag there. So, of course, I had to call and complain to the city, and they showed up the following day to pick it up. And they had to read notes because sometimes people don't have, the garbage is not acceptable. So they send in these notes to City Hall in case someone complains about their garbage not being picked up. And then they can come back and read the notes that says, your garbage was too heavy, the bag was tore wide open, or whatever the case may be. So there was none of that. The guy was just he just missed it. So, anyways, all right, Chris. Anything else?
No, not really. It's a day like today, though, and we've not had a lot of them this winter. But boy, you don't envy the guys and gals that are out doing that kind of work in this weather, that's for sure. But yeah, I've heard that Hamilton is pretty tough and pretty restrictive on garbage pickup of all things. But no, I'm in Burlington, so fortunately we don't seem to have that issue, at least not regularly. But no, that's it. I'll be hanging out here with you, Chuck, and listening for on this day and all the other wonderful things that are part of the net. VA3CJZ, VA3CJW listening.
Okay, very good, Chris. And so we'll clear with VA3CJW. And before we get to Larry, let's see if Mac has returned. VA3IMW.
I absolutely have. My sincerest apologies. I stepped away from the radio for a couple of minutes to refill my hot chocolate. Anyways, I'm terribly sorry that I missed you.
Oh, no worries, Mac. We're just doing I was just killing a little bit of time and thought we'd do a second round before we start on this day, and all the fantastic trivia that I have lined up for you.
Yep. QSL. And while Bill's out there listening intently to the net on YouTube, just a quick reminder that Wade and I have already completed our Hunter QSOs for February 29th. so you can get started on those certificates. And tomorrow I'll let you know how things go down at Battlefield. So yes, it was nice to work some late shift parks, and I did get a chance to mention to some of the operators that I was in touch with to keep an eye out on the spotting page for Hamilton stations throughout the day tomorrow, celebrating the leap year day, and a bunch of Hamilton parks will be activated in as the first quadrennial leap year activation. So, yep, I'm sure there's a number of folks that have already done some hunting on the parks. I was kind of interested when I heard Deb talking about the counterpoise for the Pac-12. They supply it with ribbon cable. I think it's 10 or 12 strand ribbon cable. And obviously they recommend that you split it into at least 4 so that they're all running, say, roughly 90 degrees to each other. You can do some further experiments with that, and the way you lay out those wires can affect the directional abilities of the Pac-12. So as to say, if you put all of your radials out, say across east-west and down towards the south, then it would kind of influence your signal to go northwards. If you're really trying to push it west, then you'd run a radial out to the north, one out to the south, and then evenly spread the ones around to the east, and that would kind of influence your, theoretically influence your signal strength out to the west. So lots of interesting experiments you can do with an antenna of that nature. I'm just not terribly sure what she means with the factory radials only covering 2 bands. I found it to be effective. I've never had any trouble making contacts on anything from 80 meters all the way up to 6. And yes, 80 meters I can get with a secondary coil and an extended telescopic antenna. I'm not sure if she has time to come back and feed me back some information there.
Yeah, I was just saying that the counterpoise length is cut to 16 feet 8 inches, which is cut for the 20 meter band. I was just wondering if I made, I don't know, what is it, 32, 33 feet set of counterpoise, if it would help for 40 meters.
For the price of another section of ribbon cable, it probably would be something to try. If these were, in fact, radials that were above ground, I would say it would probably have more influence. But I think the fact that you're laying them down on the ground, it kind of gives you, well, you're starting to use the ground itself as, and the influence of having your radials stretched out on the ground was, I think the intent is that proximity to the Earth itself is giving some additional influence. But I would be interested to hear how things go if you're going to cut an extra section of wire and stretch that out. If you're going with something other than ribbon cable, just remember you want to have 4 to 6 radials spread out in even directions so that you can do a good A to B comparison.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to play around in the spring or some warm days and see what happens.
QSL on playing around on the warm days. Tomorrow, not so warm, but we're going to play around anyways. Okay, Chuck, once again, sorry I missed my spot. As I said, you know how hard it is to keep your hot chocolate full.
Oh yes, yes, I've experienced that on many occasions. Okay, very good then. Well, I'm glad you and Debbie were able to talk about this issue, and Debbie, let us know how things work out.
I will.
All right, so that brings us to Larry, VE3LBI. Anything else to add, Larry? Alrighty then. Well, it's 9:10 p.m. and it's time to start the second portion of the AREG net. And so tonight, after receiving a request, we are going to start with some amazing trivia facts. Hopefully, some of you find this interesting or amusing, even. And we'll start with Australia. The country of Australia is actually wider than our moon. So that's an amazing trivia fact. And also, Venus is the only planet in our solar system to spin clockwise. All the planets spin counterclockwise except for Venus. Don't ask me why. This next one is a fear. Now, that's a phobia, and I think half of the kids in the world are part of this. Let me explain. A phobia called allodoxaphobia. Allodoxaphobia is the fear of other people's opinions. Allodoxaphobia, right? Okay. Next, human teeth are the only part of the body that cannot heal themselves. Your teeth cannot heal, everything else can. And competitive art used to be an Olympic sport. Don't ask me what competitive art is, but there you have it. Now we have the very first person processed at Ellis Island. Now, Ellis Island is where all the immigrants would end up before being allowed into the U.S. Their papers, when they came on the Mayflower, everyone went through Ellis Island, and that is in New York. So the first person to be processed at Ellis Island was a 15-year-old girl from Ireland. We don't have her name, but nonetheless, very first person. And then Google Images was created after Jennifer Lopez wore the green dress at the 2000 Grammys. So ever since then, Google came out with Google Images. Lemons float, but limes sink. Didn't know that. Guess you'll have to try that out. All right. The Eiffel Tower was originally made for Barcelona, which is in Spain. Didn't know that. All right, this next one is pretty cool. If there was a cliff or a hole that went to the center of the Earth, it would take 19 minutes to fall to the center of the Earth. Now, for reference, that's a little over 12,000 kilometers. It would take you 19 minutes to fall, and that means roughly 1,000 feet every 6 seconds. Next, the real name for a hashtag is an octothorpe. Octothorpe is the official name of a hashtag. Neil Armstrong's hair was sold in 2004 for $3,000. Okay. All right, get this. The longest English word is 189,819 letters long. 189,819 letters long. That's an English word. I don't know what it is. That would take up a lot of paper. The tiny little pocket in your Levi jeans or any jeans was designed to store, anyone know? Pocket watches. The original concept for the little uh, uh, pocket that a lot of people put their spare change in, their Zippo lighters, and whatever else was originally intended for pocket watches. The Terminator script was sold for $1. That's right, the original Terminator script was sold for $1. Penicillin was first called mold juice. Mold juice. All right. Uh, a fear. Oh, this one's funny. A fear for long words. A fear of long words is called hippopotamonstros equipedaliophobia. Yeah, don't ask me to say that again. Fear of long words. That doesn't make sense. All right, the quickest commercial flight in the world is in Scotland. And by the way, the very first commercial passenger flight lasted only 23 minutes. First commercial passenger flight. All right, no number before 1000 contains the letter A. Interesting. All right. Apparently, there were active volcanoes on the moon when dinosaurs were alive. So that would be at least 66 million years ago. And Sudan has more pyramids than any country in the world. The circulatory system is more than 60,000 miles long. Wow. And the Pope can't be an organ donor, even though he apparently carries a organ donor card. Uh, he cannot donate. Once he dies, his body becomes part of the Catholic Church, and they want the whole thing, nothing missing. So that's why the Pope can't be an organ donor. The world's longest concert lasted 453 hours. To put that in perspective, 1 week equals 168 hours. Next, it's impossible to hum while holding your nose. I imagine that means closed. I'll wait for everybody to try that. Hum a few bars. It's impossible to hum while holding your nose. Did anybody try it?
I did.
And?
Nope, can't be done.
Very good, very good. See, we have some audience participation there. I'm sorry, Bill, I can't read the YouTube stream as well as this here, so I'll read after. But anyways, hope you're enjoying this. Africa is the only continent in all four hemispheres. That means the northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere, the eastern, and the western hemispheres. Africa is the only continent in all four. And apparently, all mammals get goosebumps. And Japan has one vending machine for every 40 people. Wow. McDonald's once made bubblegum flavored broccoli. McDonald's, really? Okay. Finland has more saunas than cars. Wow. And the longest time someone has spent holding their breath underwater is 24 minutes and 37 seconds. Wow. Bats are the only flying mammals. Birds are not considered mammals, therefore, bats are the only flying mammals. And tomatoes are a fruit, not a vegetable. And it turns out that for years in Europe, they considered the tomato poison. The reason being that a lot of their plates were made with, I think, pewter in them, and it leached the tomato juice would leach off of the pewter and poison people. So there you go. And everyone knows this. Chihuahuas are the smallest dog breed. Snakes smell with their tongue. A lot of people knew that. Buzz Lightyear's original name was Lunar Larry. Buzz Lightyear's original name. A chicken once lived for 18 months without its head. Imagine that. Like cockroaches can live at least a week without a head. I read that somewhere. And ketchup was once sold as medicine. And a sheep was the first animal to be cloned. A lot of people know that. And Jupiter is the largest planet in the solar system. The closest planet to the sun is Mercury. A mile is 5,280 feet long. Platypuses sweat milk. And Massachusetts is the home of basketball and volleyball. Now, I know what you're thinking. A lot of people have said that a Canadian invented basketball, which is true, but he incorporated it when he moved to the U.S. James Naismith was a Canadian American physical educator, physician, and Christian chaplain, and sports coach, best known as the inventor of the game of basketball. After moving to the United States, he wrote the original basketball rule book and founded the University of Kansas basketball program. So there you go. Technically invented by a Canadian in the US. So there you go. Bananas glow blue under black lights. I didn't know that one. Bananas glow blue under black lights. I happen to have a banana in front of me, but I don't have a black light handy. I'll have to check that later. A woman in the United Kingdom called the police when her ice cream didn't have enough sprinkles. Well, I'm not surprised. You got to have sprinkles. Hey, does anyone know the country that has the most time zones? Anyone?
Canada.
No, close. Actually, technically, France has 12 time zones, but France also includes their territories, which is not part of, the landlocked country of France. So they have islands in that. So they have 12, but the continent and the country with the most after them is Russia or Asia in general. The continent of Asia has 11 time zones.
You're a sneaky guy.
All right. Well, where's Huey? This one's for Huey. Japan released a sushi-inspired Kit Kats. So Kit Kats that smell like fish? I don't know. Speaking of food, comets apparently smell like rotten eggs.
really disgusting joke in there somewhere. I'm not going to touch that one.
All right. All right. Does anyone know what the smallest country in the world is? Vatican City is the smallest country in the world. Yeah. And bees can fly higher than Mount Everest. Did not know that. Captain Crunch's full name is Horatio Magellan Crunch, for those who need to know. All right. President Theodore Roosevelt had a pet hyena. I know Schwarzenegger has a donkey or a burro or whatever that he feeds out of his kitchen. So Theodore Roosevelt, I think, was also, I don't know if it's a real picture or not, but he's riding a moose in one of the pictures. You may have seen that. All right. Does anyone know the Hollywood sign in Hollywood, California? Does anyone know what it used to say before they changed it to Hollywood? It used to say Hollywood Land, one word. And then I guess they were renovating it, or a part of it had broken down, and they just took away the word land and left the word Hollywood. And apparently, peanuts are not a type of nut. They are something else. I forget now. But peanuts are not nuts. Blue whale tongues can weigh as much as an elephant. What? Blue whale tongues weigh as much as an elephant. That's what, about 4 tons?
Peanuts would be a legume, Chuck.
That's right. That's what I heard when I did hear it. And it was that long ago. It was a few days ago. It was a trivia question. It was when KKP was doing the food trivia the other night. That's it. Thank you, Chris. And does anybody know what the body's largest organ is?
The epidermis.
Skin.
Very good, guys. You got it right. The skin is the body's largest organ. And the unicorn is the national animal of Scotland. Now, I looked it up, and apparently they had an animal that they called a unicorn, 40,000 years ago. But the thing is, it looks like a hairy rhinoceros. So there you go. Nonetheless, the unicorn is the national animal of Scotland. And fingernails grow faster than toenails. All right, so let's end off with this one for tonight, because I would like to get to the on this day as well. So my last one for tonight of fantastic trivia is giraffe tongues can be as long as 20 inches long. And there you have it. Do I have any comments, questions, or check-ins for this week's Amateur Radio Exchange Group? Please come now. Okay, I have to step away real quick. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Staying right here, nice and comfy and cozy. Yeah, this is a unique addition to the trivia section of the net. And we'll let Chuck come back with his full cup of coffee after he's had a sip.
Oh, that was great. That was funny. I like that. That was good.
Yeah, QSL. Chuck doing all the talking. He needs to get a break every now and then and top up his coffee there.
I'm going to go and sweat some milk.
Yeah, that was interesting. I went, ooh, when I heard that about the platypus.
That's funny. And I did try to hum with my nose, but it didn't work.
Yeah, QSL, I did as well, the A3CJW here. I think it has to do with the fact that when you're humming, you're actually resonating. Whether it's through your nasal passages or whatever, it's resonating. You can't make a resonant frequency when you plug your nose.
Ain't that the truth? VA3AXJs. We'll be standby.
Okay, well, I'm glad you guys liked it. I have lots more, trust me, but we'll save it for some for next week. So let's go to on this day in history, February 28th. And this week is week 157. So we always start with famous birthdays. And of course, it's famous birthdays on February 28th. And my first person is Joe Malone. He was born in 1890, and he is a Canadian Hockey Hall of Fame center and is the only player in NHL history to score 7 goals in a single game. That was back in 1920. Joe Malone was born in Quebec City, Quebec. All right, from hockey to casinos. Next, we have Bugsy Siegel. He was born on this day in 1906. Oh, yeah, I forget. Joe Malone lived to be 70 years old, by the way. Bugsy Siegel was born in 1906, and he didn't pass away. I think he was erased in 1947. But nonetheless, Bugsy Siegel is an American gangster who created casinos in Las Vegas, and he was born in Brooklyn, New York. Next, we've got on this day in 1926, Svetlana Aliluyeva was born, and she is apparently the Russian-born daughter of Joseph Stalin, who later defected to the West and became an author. She wrote the book My Life, and she was born in Moscow, passed away in 2011. Gavin MacLeod, born on this day in 1931. Gavin MacLeod is an American actor. You might remember him from the Mary Tyler Moore Show as Murray. He was also on The Love Boat as Captain Stubing, and he was on McHale's Navy, born in New York. He passed away in 2021. Next, we've got a gentleman I fondly remember as a youngster, watch him race, and that's Mario Andretti, celebrating 83 years today. He was born in 1940. Oh, so that would make him 84 years old, right? Anyways, he's an Italian-American auto racer, known for the Indianapolis 500. He won in 1969, the F1 World Champion, 1978. Born in Montana, Italy. Next, born on this day, is Brian Jones, born in 1942. He's a British blues and rock guitarist, an organist, and sitar player for the Rolling Stones between 1962 and 69. He drowned, I think, in his pool at home, and he was born in Gloucestershire, England. Next, we go to the year 1942. On this day, Frank Bonner was born. He's an American actor. He was in WKRP in Cincinnati, known as Herb Tarlick. He looked like the car salesman with the cheesy powder blue suits all the time. He's been in other stuff as well. He was born in Little Rock, Arkansas, passed away in 2021. Next, we have Bernadette Peters, turning 75 years old today. She was born in 1948, and she's an American Tony Award-winning stage and screen actress and singer. You might remember her as the crazy blonde girl in the movie The Jerk with Steve Martin. She's also in Pennies from Heaven. She always plays a kind of weird role. Anyways, she was born in Queens, New York. Next, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat was born on this day in 1953. His real name is Richard Blood, and he is an American professional wrestler that worked in the NWA, WWF, WCW, and the AWA. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. I guess he's still alive today. Next, we've got Gilbert Gottfried. Gilbert Gottfried was born on this day in 1955. He's an American stand-up comedian known for his very annoying voice. He was on Saturday Night Live. He was in the movie Aladdin as Lago the Parrot. He was also the Aflac duck. Remember? The duck that would go around saying, Aflac. He was born in Brooklyn, New York. He passed away in 2022. Cindy Wilson was born in 1957 on this day. She's an American rock vocalist with the B-52s. Remember the song Love Shack? She was born in Athens, Georgia. Sticking with musicians and sticking with the 1957, February 28th, Ian Stanley was born. And he is a British rock keyboardist and songwriter for the band Tears for Fears from 81 to 87. You might remember the songs Shout, Let It All Out, and the song Everybody Wants to Rule the World. He was born in Bath, England. Next, we've got our very own Dorothy Stratton. She was born on this day in 1960. Her real last name is Dorothy Hoog Stratton. She's a Canadian Playboy playmate. She was in August of 1979, model and actress. She was in the movie Galaxina, born in Vancouver, British Columbia, and she was killed by her husband in 1980. She was murdered shortly after starring in the movie Galaxina at the age of 20 by her estranged husband and manager, Paul Snyder, whom she was in the process of divorcing and breaking business ties. Snyder committed suicide after he killed Stratton.
VA3, India Lima.
Yes, I hear a station there. I think it's VA3 India Lima.
Just listening to your trivia there, just make a small correction. It's not the WWF anymore. It's called the WWE now, because they had a little dispute with the World Wildlife Federation, so the WWF had to change it to WWE, World Wrestling Entertainment.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you. I think that's Tyler. Yes, I do. I did know that, but I think at the time the company was called WWF when Ricky the Dragon Steamboat worked for them. So, but thank you for the correction, and you're right. The reason they changed it to WWE was because of the World Wildlife Federation had an issue with it. So, thank you, Tyler. Whereabouts are you located, sir?
Hamilton, Ontario. And another little trivia fact about concerts, the world's loudest concert was by The Who at 196 decibels, louder than a jumbo jet.
Wow, 190 decibels. That is very loud. The Who holds that title. Very good, Tyler. Thank you very much, sir. My name is Chuck. My call is VA3CJZ over here by the Center Mall. Thanks for joining us, Tyler. Anything else?
No, that's about it right now.
Okay, very good. I do encourage you all to jump in there if there's a correction or for any reason you have a comment. So, by all means, please do that. So, let's go back to the birthdays in history here, famous birthdays. Next, we have Ray Don Chong, was born on this day in 1962. She's a Canadian born actress. She was in the movie Quest for Fire. You know, the movie where no one said a word for the whole 3 hour movie. She was born in Edmonton, Alberta, and she is the daughter of Tommy Chong. And Tommy Chong was also born in Edmonton, Alberta. But you guys didn't know Tommy Chong is Canadian, or was.
Every weedhead knows.
Yeah, more than likely. Very good. All right, next let's go to Eric Lindros, celebrating 50 years today. He was born in 1973 and he's a Canadian NHL forward. Lots of awards and whatnot, but he was born in London, Ontario. Happy birthday, Eric Lindros. And my last person on the list is Michael Bisping. Turns 45 today, born in 1979, February 28th. And he is an English mixed martial artist born in Nicosia, Cyprus. And Michael Bisping does not compete anymore. He lost an eye um, from being hit there, and so he wears a glass eye now. Wonder if you guys knew that. So that's it for famous birthdays on this day. Let's go to famous deaths on February 28th, and we'll start with Juan de la Cosa. Uh, Passed away in 1510. Juan is a Spanish cartographer, explorer, and conquistador who designed the earliest European world map. He was shot with poison arrows and killed by indigenous people during an armed confrontation near modern day Turbaco, Colombia. And not too far behind him is a gentleman named by Cuauhtemoc. The year is 1525. Now, Cuauhtemoc is the last Aztec emperor in the year 1520 to 21. He was tortured and killed by Spanish conquistador Herman Cortez. All right, I'm not making this next one up. The year is 1913, and it says elephant seal, uh, measuring 6.8 meters. That's 22 feet long, weighing 4,000 kilograms, was shot in Possession Bay, South Georgia, back in 1913. I'm assuming it was a pretty big catch. All right, passing away on this day in 1967, Henry Luce, American magazine publisher for Time magazine, Fortune magazine, and Life magazine, dies at the age of 68. Henry Luce, Luce. And in 1979, on this day, Mr. Ed, the talking horse, dies at the age of 20. 1994, on this day, Pu Yi. That's Pu space Yi. Pu Yi, brother of last Chinese emperor. Pu Yi dies at the age of 87 back in 1994. Brother of the last Chinese emperor. Let's go to the year 2010. And Tom T-Bone Walk passed away. That's WOLK. American rock bassist with Hall & Oates. The band dies of a heart attack at the age of 51. And last person on my list here is the year 2014, and it is Rostislav Belyakov, a Russian chief designer of the MiG fighter jet, dies at the age of 94 back in 2014. That's it for famous people passing away or dying on this day in history. Any questions, comments, or check-ins for this week's Amateur Radio Exchange Group, please come now. All right, historical events on February 28th. We go to the year 202 BC. We have the coronation ceremony of Liu Bang as Emperor Gazu of Han takes place, initiating 4 centuries of the Han dynasty's rule over China back in 202 BC. All right, we're going to go ahead a little bit further to the year 1832. We have a historic expedition. Charles Darwin aboard the HMS Beagle, that's Her Majesty's ship Beagle, arrives in the town of Salvador in the Brazilian state of Bahia. All right, let's go to the year 1844 now on this day. A whole whack of people died in this incident. A 12-inch gun aboard the USS Princeton explodes. Now just think of a cannonball 12 inches wide. It's killed a Secretary of State, the Secretary of the Navy, and other high-ranking U.S. officials. This is back in 1844. Ever heard of the term 49ers? My great-grandfather was a 49er. Well, that's in relation to the discovery of gold in California, which was on this day in 1849. The first boatload of gold rush prospectors arrived in San Francisco from the East Coast. Had it not been for the gold rush, San Francisco would not be the city it is today. All right. In 1878, Congress overrides United States President Rutherford B. Hayes' veto of the Bland-Allison Act, requiring the Treasury to buy a certain amount of silver and put it into circulation as silver dollars. That's why a lot of the old coins, even up until not that long ago, had high silver content. (1883) on this day was the first U.S. vaudeville theater opening in Boston, Massachusetts. Now, a vaudeville theater is basically where they have, it's a stage, of course, in a theater, and they have specialty acts such as burlesque, comedy, and song and dance. Burlesque means striptease. Maybe not stripping, but teasing for sure. Let's go to the year 1909. We have the first National Women's Day is observed in the United States, organized by the Socialist Party of America in honor of the 1908 garment workers' strike in New York, where women protested against working conditions. So the very first National Women's Day, 1909. All right, you Toronto Maple Leaf fans, here we go. The year is 1925, and the longest win streak in Toronto Maple Leafs history happens with 9 games. in a row. That was in 1925, folks. Harlem, New York. Okay. Let me back up a bit here. Let's go to the year 1944. Arrests of the 10 Boom family in Nazi-occupied Netherlands in the city of Haarlem, which is spelled H-A-A, that's two A's, and then, of course, R-L-E-M. They arrest 10 Boom family in Nazi-occupied Netherlands through a Dutch collaborator on charges of hiding Jews. Now, a strange fact about Haarlem, New York. Haarlem, New York is named after the same city in the Netherlands, only Haarlem in New York only has one A, and the one in the Netherlands has two. Also, New York City used to be called New Amsterdam. I'm guessing because of a lot of Dutch settlers. You won't find too many Dutch people in Haarlem, New York nowadays. All right, some Canadian history. In 1952, on this day, Vincent Massey is sworn in as the first Canadian-born Governor General of Canada. It's probably what Massey Hall is named after. Next, we've got the discovery of the DNA double helix. In 1953, Francis Crick and James Watson discover the chemical structure of DNA molecule double helix polymer using studies of X-ray diffraction developed by two other guys. 1956, American engineer Wright Forrester is issued a patent for computer core memory. I don't know if Wade or Larry knows anything about that. Okay, 1959, there's the launch of Discover 1, first polar orbit. Discover 1 was the first of a series of satellites which were part of the Corona Reconnaissance Satellite Program. It was launched on a Thor Agena A rocket on the 28th of February, 1959 from Vandenberg Air Force Base in California. Let me get a sip of my coffee here. In 1966, the Cavern Club, which is a Beatles hangout in Liverpool, England, closes. 1966. Hangout for the Beatles. And in 1968, pirate radio Hauraki on a boat floating off the coast of New Zealand returns to the air. So pirate radio spelled H-A-U, Raki, R-A-K-I. Another pirate radio station. And in 1970, bicycles are permitted to cross the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. So before 1970, no bicycles. The first killer whale born in captivity at Marineland, Los Angeles, California, happened on this day in 1977. Kalina, K-A-L-I-N-A, Kalina was born to mother Corky. 1977. All right, in 1982, AT&T loses a record $7 billion for the fiscal year ending on this day. Wow. Hey, did you know Amazon lost money for 9 years before it became successful? And Amazon originally was a bookseller. First to buy books online, that was Amazon. And after 9 years, the old bald-headed guy started making money. One of the richest men in the world today. And the final episode of MASH happened on this day in 1983, a 2-hour special directed by series star Alan Alda, titled Goodbye, Farewell, and Amen. Airs on CBS, and a record 125 million people watch it in the U.S. That was 1983. What's that? 41 years ago. God, I feel old. Okay, in 1990, on this day, the Dutch police seized 3,000 kilograms of cocaine. That is 6,600 pounds. Now, Holland is known as a stopover point for drugs, I have read somewhere. So that was in 1990. And in 1993, a gun battle erupts near Waco, Texas, at Branch Davidian compound after the FBI attempts a raid. Apparently, they were buying and hoarding lots of guns, which is why it drew attention from the FBI originally. We all know that the Branch Davidian was a cult. And pretty much everyone, almost everyone died. Okay, 1995, the Denver International Airport opens. Mile High in Denver. Because apparently the city of Denver is at least 5,000 or 6,000 feet above sea level. 1997, on this day, the North Hollywood shootout takes place. 2 bank robbers. Both robbers were killed, 12 police officers and 8 civilians were injured. Numerous vehicles and other property were damaged or destroyed by the nearly 2,000 rounds of ammunition fired by the robbers and police. The police were so outgunned, they had to go into a sporting goods store and take their guns to use against the robbers. Okay, in 2012, we have the discovery of the largest prehistoric penguin, known as Kairuku grebnefi, at nearly 5 feet tall. That's a big penguin, boy. Woo! All right, I don't know why this next story happened, but in 2013, the brains of 2 rats are successfully connected so that they share information. Why? That's all I got to say. All right, in 2018, 700 illegal churches are closed in Rwanda for being too noisy and lacking building permits. Wow. Okay. All right, 2 more. In 2019, YouTube announces it will stop all comments on videos featuring children because of pedophiles leaving inappropriate comments. So any YouTube videos with children in them, you cannot comment on since 2019. And finally, the FBI claims the Wuhan lab leak was likely. In 2023, FBI Director Christopher Wray confirms the Bureau believes COVID-19 pandemic likely originated from a lab accident in Wuhan, China. And that's it for On This Day and crazy trivia. Hope you guys enjoyed yourselves as much as I did researching it and letting you all know what I found. So do we have any comments or questions or last minute check-ins? It is 9:59 p.m. Please come now. This is VA3 CJZ.
VA3AXJ.
VA3AXJ. Go ahead, Rick.
Yeah, I actually knew that one about the jeans and the pocket watch. I actually have pocket watches here. But I couldn't key up. I was laughing so hard on one of those trivia ones. I was going to key up, but I had tears coming out of my eyes and I couldn't key up.
Yeah, there were some pretty good ones. I got a whole bunch more too, so I'm glad you liked it, Rick.
Yeah, keep up good work there, Chuck. You did a great job tonight. Fantastic, actually. Really enjoyed it. So I'm going to be signing off VA3XJ. We're going to be QRT. Good night and have a fine day tomorrow.
All right, Rick, you too. Thanks for sticking around and being part of the group. Have a great rest of the evening there. So let's go down the list, and Mac is next. VA3IMW.
I'm not going to miss my spot this time, Chuck. VA3IMW Friday. And thanks very much for a very entertaining evening. This super trivia, it was a little spark in the day, over and above the normal on this day. So yeah, everybody keep an eye out on the spotting page for POTA. There's going to be a bunch of us out there tomorrow, and we'll be looking forward to your contacts. Thanks again, Chuck. 7-3s. I'll be probably going back to the ZOE repeater once this is all finished up for a little while anyways. Victor Alpha 3, Indy Mike Whiskey.
Okay, very good, Mac. Thanks a bunch for checking in and being part of our group as well. And I'm reading some of the comments on YouTube there. And Wade originally made a comment about what was it? Competitive art was a Olympic sport. He replied by saying full contact competitive speed art. And Larry, VA3LDZ, says his wife held her breath under the blankets from a Dutch oven for over a minute. And Larry is going to use the handle Lunar Larry, which was the original name of, what was that? Buzz Lightyear. All right. And Bill, I'm glad you liked the trivia and the interesting facts. Way to go. All right. What else we have? Okay. So let's keep going down the list and finish this up here. And who's after Mac? We have Wade, VA3NCA. Wade, you there?
VA3 CJZ, VA3NCA. Yeah, I'm still here, listening along to the duration, and thanks so much for doing it as always. Good way to spend a Wednesday. Yeah, you mentioned I didn't key up in time, but you mentioned about the core memory. It's actually an interesting technology. It went to the moon on the Apollo missions. There's actually two different types. There's the type that is read-only that they use to program the computers with things they needed to stay there, and that was actually stitched by mostly women in a line, like in a production line, and they stitch it by running a wire through a toroid or around a toroid, and if it goes through a toroid or around a toroid, they can determine if when they throw a pulse in, they can determine if it changes phase, and that's a 1 or a 0. So that's the read-only rope core memory that they use to program the Apollo computers. The other type is the read-write memory, the memory that you can run programs and store things in. And that's also interesting in that it has an interesting situation that the read of it is destructive. So it took a longer time to write to that memory than it did to read from it, because if you read from it, it would destroy the contents, and you'd have to turn around and write it back to make sure that it stayed. So that is, if anybody's interested in this stuff, look for a YouTube channel called Curious Mark. Mark is spelled M-A-R-C. He's a French background, Curious Mark. He does a bunch of things with old Apollo technology. It includes rope memory, where he's assembled a team that will travel around to find old Apollo-era equipment and try and read the data off of old core memories. that they might have. And the trick there is, as I said, if you can read it once, if you don't write it back. So it's a very fascinating channel, fascinating technology that that we've moved beyond. But anyways, it's all good stuff. So this has been a very long 73 rounds, so I will say 73 at this point, and thanks for doing it as always there, Chuck. Back to you.
Okay, Wade, not a problem. Very good. And gosh, that reminds me of the Mission Impossible movies. Once the person got their message, it was self-destruct. All right, very good, Wade. Well, thanks a lot for all that information and for sticking around tonight. So thank you. Enjoy the rest of the week. We'll be listening for you tomorrow morning. And so we'll clear with Wade. And next is Debbie. See if she's around. VA3OYL. You still there, Deb? All right, let's go to Chris. VA3CJW. Last round, 7-3 round. Chris?
VA3 CJZ, VA3 CJW. Yeah, thanks, Chuck. Still hanging out with you. Great job tonight on the net and everything that was involved. 73 to you and to everyone else still listening in on the net tonight. A little bit of recommendation for you. I know that, like me, you're a diabetic, but we can still enjoy our hot chocolate. There's a company by the name of Lakanto, Lakanto, and they make stuff that's sweetened with monk fruit, so it won't impact your blood sugar. And one of the things they make is hot chocolate. So Lakanto hot chocolate for those of us that are diabetic or concerned about our sugar intake.
All right. Well, that's very helpful there, Chris. Thank you very much. I'll have to check that out. Yeah, I sure like my hot chocolate, but that's only, when I'm cheating, of course. So thank you very much, Chris. And of course, being part of our net once again, I'm glad you enjoyed yourself. And so we'll clear with VA3CJW and see if Larry is with us, VE3LBI. Last round, Larry.
Yep, we're still here, Chuck, and I keep waiting for the repeater to drop. Yep, listen along. No, I picked it up. I missed my turn there before I was indisposed. But no, I've been listening all along to all the stuff you've been putting out. So it's good. I like the trivia, and I like the part where the different things you pick up.
Yeah, very good. Yeah. It helps pass the time there, and researching it sometimes takes a while, but it's worth it. I have fun reading it back, even even after I've read it while doing the research. Some of them are pretty interesting. So glad you liked it, Larry. Well, thanks again, and good luck tomorrow. And so we'll clear with you, and let's say goodbye to Tyler, if he's still with us. VA3 India Lima. Okay, nothing heard. Before I close the net for this week, are there any last-minute check-ins, questions, or comments? Please come now to VA3CJZ. All right, very good then. So it's time to wrap it up for one more week of the Amateur Radio Exchange Group. Please join us again next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Same bat time, same bat channel. Thank you all so much. 7-3 for now, and I'll be returning the frequency back to regular use. And thank you, Bill, for that comment on monk fruit. 7-3, all. Oh. Okay, good night, all.